Chicago at New Orleans. That's the second game on Sunday.
No weather in that game either, by the way.
No weather at Tennessee?
No weather.
Can I just I know you haven't had a chance to look it up. Can I get a weather report for Bears Saints here?
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Great. Wow, you're good. In the Dome, Bears at Saints. What are you looking for in this one? And we've talked a lot about Brees, but are the Saints maybe the best all-around team, the most complete team? Check out the Daily. Maybe somebody said the Saints. They're favored by 10 against the Bears.
Yeah, and that probably tells you something. The Saints, this is, again, similar to Tampa Bay. Two-pronged mission for the Saints. Get to the postseason, make sure you get out of your division in good shape, and then hope to God that old man Brees still has enough in the gas tank for the final few postseason games if the rest of the roster is around him is as good as you thought it was heading into the season. And earlier in the year, it looked like that was just a miscalculation, and this thing was going to collapse. The final, load up for one last go-around with Drew Brees to get him a second Super Bowl ring was going to end in disaster. And, sort of the way sometimes that happens when a team loads up for a Super Bowl, it just all goes south. And then it didn't. They started to round into form. The defense in particular started to play a lot better down the stretch. They still haven't had all their weapons on offense get healthy and on the field at the same time properly. But suddenly this roster looks like the Super Bowl caliber roster it was supposed to be, which brings all the focus back to what is Drew Brees in the playoffs.
73 overall grade for Drew Brees, by far the worst of his career. And I've made the comparison to 2015 Peyton Manning before. He did not play nearly as badly as Peyton played that year. But on the Super Bowl run that Peyton made, like I said previously, the defense was incredible. But on that Super Bowl run, Peyton played reasonable enough. Got away with a bunch of stuff in the Super Bowl. But if you could play with your mind, if you can at least get the ball to the right place, Brees has all of that. You've got the dome. I think they'll move the ball okay. Brees hasn't missed an inordinate amount of passes this year. It's been the turnover-worthy play percentage, fifth highest turnover-worthy play percentage in the league this year for Brees. Again, that's uncharacteristic. But that isn't a decision-making thing. It's just his arm hasn't gotten it there a few times. Yep. So it's literally 2 or 3 plays per game. And this happened in the first Bears game. He threw a pass to Roquan Smith that could have been a game-ending pick 6 in overtime, and a pass that Eddie Jackson got his hands on in overtime. If Brees gives the Bears 2 or 3 of these, much like Brees gave 2 or 3 to the Vikings last year in the playoff loss, you have to catch them. I mean, the game might be as simple as that because Brees might only make 2 or 3 mistakes per game. But that is the difference between the high-end Brees and what we've seen this year. The Bears need to capitalize when it happens.
We have talked all season long about Drew Brees that when you have an arm as bad as his currently is, what it does is shrink your margin for error and the window that you have to make these plays. And again, some defenses, that doesn't matter. Some defenses are bad enough that your margin for error is too big and you can shrink it and it's still plenty. It's still more than enough for a guy who's as smart and savvy and good at playing quarterback as he is to still get the ball where it needs to go. Chicago's defense is good enough for there to be overlap now between the margin for error you've created and what the Bears can do on defense. Now the Venn diagram has created this slice in the middle where suddenly these are plays that are going to end up in the hands of Chicago defenders. And that, as you say, could be the difference because, look, turnovers are still one of the most impactful things in deciding the outcome of football games, and Chicago is going to have some opportunities at them because of what Brees' arm does now.
You ready for the bold prediction?
Hit it.
My guy, Barkevious Mingo.
Oh, come on.
On his 6th team in 6 years, former Super Bowl champion Barkevious is going to make a play. He's going to make a play in this one, Sam.
On special teams?
Maybe, but there's going to be a big play. Could be another 20-yard run.
Oh, God.
Aaron Rodgers tried to throw a pick to him the other day. He should have caught it.
Yeah.
He'll catch it this time if he gets one.
Okay.
Just ready for Barkevio.
Yeah.
In reality, though, I think the Bears – look, I think the Saints are going to win. I like the Saints. I think the Saints have shown the ability – I use this phrase all the time – win multiple ways. They've had dominant defense at times this year, great pass rush. They have all the elements in the secondary. They have Alvin Kamara, a running attack, offensive line. They have all the elements. I also think that the Bears have the pieces to at least pull the upset. There's a lot of what ifs, but for as much as we, say, look, Mitch Trubisky isn't great, they've moved the ball better with him. Bad defenses or not, they've moved the ball better. They run a lot outside zone. They boot him out. After that, he's got some mobility. They've got Darnell Mooney, the rookie deep threat. They still have Allen Robinson. David Montgomery's running the ball a little bit better. And defensively, a good defensive front and a solid defense for the Bears, right? They have the pieces to at least pull the upset. There's a lot of what ifs that need to happen along the way, including, catch those interceptions when they come your way.
Despite the run of inept defenses that Mitchell Trubisky has faced and therefore produced against and therefore become better in the eyes of many humans, including apparently you.
I didn't say Trubisky got better.
You did.
I said the offense was moving the ball despite Trubisky. Go ahead.
Anyway.
Keep putting words into my mouth.
He has the 36th highest PFF grade this season, which is behind Carson Wentz, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Nick Foles, Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Glennon, Andy Dalton, Taysom Hill. It's behind virtually every crappy quarterback in the NFL.
I'm not doubting
Mitchell
that.
Trubisky is still hot garb and will not be able to function at any kind of high level against a halfway decent defense, which is the New Orleans Saints. That, in and of itself, means the Bears basically can't win this game without a bunch of things bouncing in their direction. For example, they need to catch the turnover that might be coming their way from Drew Brees.
Everything I said?
They also probably need a Cordero Patterson touchdown on a kick return because they're not going to score on offense without some help. Like, Trubisky is a giant anchor around the ankles of this team that is going to sink them unless something miraculous happens elsewhere.
Yeah, the Bears dudes need to step up, like Allen Robinson, number 5 graded wide receiver, who's hitting free agency potentially, right? That's my point is that the grade for Trubisky has been poor, just like it was in 2018, but also in 2018, they produced offense around him, right? They produced yards after the catch.
Yeah, but they've only done that when they faced a slate of crappy defenses.
I'm just saying it's what it would take, but I think they've got, the tight ends are making some plays lately. I don't know. I think they can hang. I don't know if they can pull the upset, but they have the elements to do it. Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks. They got the elements, Sam. I like the Saints in this one. 10 feels steep, though. Does it feel steep?
No.
You don't think so?
Do they
Saints
really
cover?
have the elements? They scored 16 against Green Bay, which is the first halfway decent defense they faced in the last X number of weeks.
But
New Orleans has a better defense than Green Bay. Where do you think the points are coming from?
The Bears, that was like a 4th and 1 stop here and there. I mean, they move the ball all right in that one. I think the Bears can at least hang tough in this one.
All right. I mean, I think
it's going to come down to the turnover thing.
Yes, I think if they do, it's going to be entirely off the back of the defense and special teams.
I like the Saints to win. I just think 10 might be steep here.
Okay.
You think the Saints cover?
Yes.
Dominant outing in the.
I think they blitz the Bears off the field unless Chicago gets a slew of turnovers and/or kick return touchdowns.
Really quick, I think the playoff thing is fantastic because you talk about like legacy stuff. I mean, this is starting this weekend, legacy type stuff. It moves the needle, right? Brees looking to end his career, trying to go out like Peyton Manning, not on top of his game, but on top of the world as Super Bowl champion. Aaron Rodgers looking for number 2, not playing this week. Mahomes trying to become, one of the best quarterbacks of all time with a 2nd Super Bowl. Brady, is he just playing with house money at this point? Because, he's got it in the bag and it's like, oh, dude, if you win it with a new team, it's incredible. Russell Wilson looking for number 2. I love it when it comes down to that stuff. Where do you stand on Brees? His is this last playoff run important for his legacy? How important?
I think not that important. He hit the Thomas Jones threshold, where you hit a certain yardage number and everyone goes, oh, he's a Hall of Famer now. Drew Brees, when the moment
he is a Hall of Fame.
No, I know.
This isn't a Hall of Fame debate. Obviously, he's in.
Allow me to finish, please.
Sorry.
At the moment where he started to collect all the all-time records, yardage, touchdowns, completions, all those things, when he started to surpass all those, all debate as to his legacy evaporated. And it was so suddenly Brees became the greatest quarterback of all time. Literally. When he cleared those numbers, everyone was like, hey, he's better than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
He doesn't even have all those numbers anymore.
Well, I know, because they've been taken back from him. But the point is, when that happened, the conversation went away from Drew Brees Hall of Famer to Drew Brees is the greatest quarterback that's ever lived. So a 2nd ring, it's important for him. It's what he's shooting for to I don't know, not justify his career, but he's been shooting for that ring since 2009 because, 1 is great, 2 is all-time exclusive club that most people aren't in. I don't think it's important for his like outside perception legacy. I think that's well taken care of. But for him, it's obviously, and the Saints, like this team has been chasing that validation for the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the biggest stories of the weekend, though. Like you said, the Saints went from a mediocre team with a great Drew Brees to one of the best teams in the league since 2017, who just continue to,
which honestly,
either have some bad luck in the playoffs, some bad calls, and some craziness happen.
It's kind of fitting. Like I mean, Peyton Manning was slightly different because he spent most of his time in Indianapolis, but the Broncos did that for Peyton. The Broncos did that for John Elway. Like every now and again, you get this quarterback that has been like dragging a team somewhere for a decade, and suddenly the team figures out how to put it around him, usually just at the point where they start to fall off in terms of what they can do, and they pay him back a little bit at the end.
And that's why I sometimes I defer back to like stars are different. Superstars are different. And when you doubt them, or when they can't even throw the ball beyond 20 yards or whatever it is, they just like Brees just has to do it for 4 games. Can he suck it up for 4 games and kind of put something legendary together? I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Maybe it starts this weekend.